Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now February 15th of 2024, and ever since Bob Iger and the rest of the Disney board of directors have been making all the wrong decisions throughout 2023 that have spilled into this year, that's also going to create this domino effect, if you will, with all the expensive failures on the horizon for next year. Things aren't looking too hot right now when it comes to the Gina Carano and Elon Musk lawsuit against not just Lucasfilm, but also Disney, who runs Lucasfilm and is one of the most failed divisions at the Disney company. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, as you all know, Bob Iger has been making one bad call after the other. He's been trying to really keep on rephrasing that thing that a lot of people disagree with when he says it's all about quieting down the noise now when it comes to their films and television projects. And what do you know, of course, that was all nothing more than a lie. It always was a lie, through multiple leaked things that came out revolving around Bob Iger literally admitting that he wants to push an agenda, and he wants to actually support agenda-driven strategies into the upcoming films for everything Marvel, Star Wars, and more. But what's interesting about this further has a lot of things to do with what's been going on between Gina Carano, Elon Musk, Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, and among others behind the scenes over at Disney. Now, this is of course something that is only going to get worse throughout the 2024 year. I've talked about this before. This is not going to resolve overnight. I'm talking about in a matter of months. It may very well last throughout the entire year, if not longer than that, if it really wants to stretch out further. Now, with Bob Iger currently dealing with the ongoing fallout from the Gina Carano and Elon Musk lawsuit against both Lucasfilm and Disney, one major development has much to do with Bob Iger's reaction toward the lawsuit and what's been going on behind closed doors over at the Disney company. In a shocking turn of events, one of the most recent emergency meetings that took place between Iger, the board, and even Kathleen Kennedy of Lucasfilm joining in on that meeting involved a serious proposal that Iger made to the board about how he will be handling the Gina Carano lawsuit. Now, Iger is currently organizing a one-on-one interview with not just Jimmy Kimmel on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, where he will surprisingly unload new details about his side of the story of Gina's firing from Kathleen Kennedy, but also Iger is about to do a one-on-one interview on video with many Hollywood trades, one of the big ones being Variety, that is set to have Iger reveal bombshell details from their point of view about the truth of both Gina and Elon Musk. Now, this is reportedly not just a planned series of callouts for Gina, but also towards Elon Musk in, of course, all of that as well, as Iger is beginning to step in to go head-to-head with Elon in the ongoing verbal battle after Elon began funding Gina's lawsuit, which is really creating a lot of problems for Disney, which, of course, creating much drama over at Disney as well. However, is that all of that in turn is creating a huge shakeup between the board members, almost to the point that it's a 50-50 split of multiple board members holding serious differences about Bob Iger's move. Many members of the board are already warning Bob Iger that this is going to damage the Disney company further if he goes on these programs in Hollywood trades and drops all the details surrounding the Gina Carano firing and from Lucasfilm from Disney's point of view. Now, Bob Iger is also pressuring Kathleen Kennedy to join the Variety interview and with other Hollywood trades to turn it more into a one-on-two interview where readers and viewers will get different sides of the events that led to Gina's firing through both Bob's vision and Kennedy's. Not only is this showing signs of desperation by Bob, but it's also creating a domino effect on the corporate ladder, where Disney is essentially cornered with nowhere to go but to address the situation with their side of the story. In addition to this, Iger already gave Kathleen Kennedy permission to allow her to choose which of those associated with Lucasfilm will be able to talk about Gina's firing on X. Now, one being Freddie Prinze Jr., which comes as no surprise, since he laughed about her firing back in 2021 when X was called Twitter. Both Elon and Gina are already preparing to do something similar, as they reportedly have discussed to go on the Joe Rogan podcast and among other podcasts and/or radio stations as a series of bombshells to unload as well that they plan to drop with new details from Gina's view. Now guys, let me just stop here before I move on. Now, here's the biggest problem of all when it comes to Bob Iger, is that not only are you making a bad decision now, this is going to make things worse by opening your mouth about Gina's lawsuit. But now you're creating a shakeup between the board members. I would not be too shocked if this leads ultimately to a premature firing of Bob Iger and shoehorning somebody else in as CEO before they really get a true, version of the CEO to step in 2026. It's quite possible that it could get that bad. We'll have to wait and see. But now that there is a shakeup between Iger and the board, solely based on this Gina and Elon scenario. Other than that, the board is fully, pretty much supporting Bob Iger's push for agenda-driven strategies, which are tarnishing brands, which is just terrible. We know that the top shareholders are also responsible for this. You got BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street really funding all of that nonsense to the point where it's almost irresistible to Disney's point of view. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at stuff like this, when you look at Bob Iger, this is going to really be a scenario where they're just going to shoot themselves in the foot. It's not going to work for them. Everything is going to fall. It's going to make them look very ugly, both on camera and through word of mouth. And at the same exact time, this is going to lead to further complications, because now that's going to make things easier for Gina and Elon. It's going to support their case even further. It's going to make their case more accurate and more represented. And it's going to also put Bob Iger in a box, because he's going to have nowhere to go but to keep shouting and shouting multiple times on those ABC-run programs and through those Hollywood trades, moving onwards. Now, on top of this, essentially, this caused an extreme shakeup between many board members, to the point at Disney that the ones that disagree, of course, with Iger outweigh the ones that support his decision to move forward with vocally presenting his side of the story with Gina's firing, which is only going to certainly make things worse for Disney's case ahead of a troubled 2025. Now look, you guys may not like Gina Carano, and that's fine, but a lot of people also really do support the actress. I, however, do. I think that she's a great individual, a very sweet person at that really just wants to show her side of the story, wants to get a chance to make things right for herself, and at the same exact time, we're going to be able to see new details from both sides. Obviously, Disney's going to be all fabricated. We all know that. But we're going to learn more about exactly what really happened as a build-up to her ultimate firing in the worst way possible. She did not get a call into the office. She did not get a phone call, not even an email by Kathleen Kennedy. No, she was fired through social media on Twitter at the time, where she woke up to a whole bunch of trending Twitter posts that Gina was fired. That's how she was fired. That's how she was terminated from her job at Lucasfilm, which is completely unprofessional and supports her case even more so. So again, like I say, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about Bob Iger's actions and how petty and desperate it really looks and appears, and how this is ultimately creating a larger shakeup between the board. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.